Schooling on knockout. What's it gonna be? Somebody's O has got to go. Let me tell you, somebody's O has got to go, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, I think it's like the best fight of 2026. You know, since there hasn't really been another big fight. I mean, maybe Daniel Dubois, Fabio Wardley. You know what I mean? That was a pretty big fight in the UK, but in America, where it counts, you know what I mean? The big honcho, you know shit don't count in the UK. You know shit don't count in Riyadh in the middle of the desert. You know, come on, my nigga, come on. Big fights can only happen in America. And this year, 2026, because Canelo Crawford was not even a big fight. That was a payday. That was just a payday. Boy, Canelo betrayed us. But Canelo Crawford was in 2025, I believe, right? That was last year. Right now, in 2026, we haven't had a big fight. It's almost half the year's almost over. We haven't had a big fight. This is the first big fight of 2026. Now, unfortunately, only boxing fans know that. Unfortunately, only boxing fans know that because Bob Arum and Slave Master Eddie have done a horrible, I mean, really, Slave Master Eddie, I mean, what else do you want from Bob Arum? Nigga like 90 years old, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Slave Master Eddie, Hair Plug Eddie, has done a horrible job of promoting this fight. There is absolutely no hype. There is no hype for Zayas versus Boots Ennis. There's no hype. I mean, I looked at the weigh-in yesterday, and there was like 4 Puerto Ricans there. There was 4 Puerto Ricans and Boots Ennis' mom. That's all. That's all that showed up. Done. Don't worry. We're gonna talk about the weigh-in. We're gonna talk about, you know what I mean. We're gonna talk about a whole lot of things. Don't you worry about that. You know what I mean. We got this. You know what I mean. We might derail and get racist. We might get racist. Warning. But so I'm watching the weigh-in yesterday, right? And all I see is like 15 Puerto Ricans and three or 4 broke niggas from Philadelphia. I'm like, where's the hype? Does anybody know that there's a fight going on tomorrow? Hello? Hello? Hold on, let me get my composure. Let me keep my composure like Xander Zayas. Let me keep my composure, boy. What's it gonna be? Schooling or a knockout? What's it gonna be? I only see this fight going in 2 directions. A schooling or a knockout. But before we get into that, you know what I mean? We gotta talk about this irrelevancy. This shit is completely irrelevant. Done. I mean, you know, boxing fans might know about it, but the rest of New York does not. This shit is completely irrelevant. Canelo Berlanga had more hype. I mean, the Teofimo versus the Pie, the Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia in the middle of New York City had more hype. That shit had a crowd. This shit is just like, hello? Is anybody coming to the fight? Hello? All I saw was Xander Zayas' mom and Boots Ennis' uncle. Boots Ennis' uncle was trying to pick up Xander Zayas' mom. That's all I saw in the crowd. And like 13 Puerto Ricans. I'm like, damn, what happened? I thought he was a star. But I mean, I gotta keep it G. I always gotta keep it G with you, even when I get racist. Xander Zayas and Boots Ennis are not stars. I hate to break it to you. This is not Miguel Cotto, dun dun. This is not Canelo, dun dun. You know what I mean? This is not Floyd Money Mayweather. They're saying he broke. We gotta make a video. We gotta make a video. We gotta defend my boy, Floyd Money Mayweather, 50-0, the best who ever done it. But he had to pawn the watch. The Rolex had to get pawned. But yeah. So I watched the weigh-in, right? And you know the haters. They're saying he's drained. They're saying Boots Ennis' beard is fake. That he bought it in Saudi Arabia from the Muslims. So, you got these weigh-in conspiracies, right? I don't know. They're saying he looked fine to me. He looked good to me. Boy, they're saying Xander Zayas is drained. He looked good to me. He about to come in at 180 pounds, boy. Bow! They're saying Boots Ennis' beard is too big. That shit kind of look like styrofoam. That shit look a little matted. It don't even look natural. When you watch the close-up, go watch the weigh-in. I mean, we all saw the weigh-in, but I don't know if you noticed, but that shit looks a little fake. It looks like a styrofoam. You know, like the fake beards in movies? Yo. They're saying the beard is fake. He want advantages. He want a little padding. Bow! For that left hook combination. He want a little padding. He want advantages. I mean, it is what it is. Xander Zayas made the fight. This whole fight is happening because Xander Zayas wants the best. He got the 2 straps. You know what I mean? He's the A side. I mean, none of this is happening because of Boots Ennis. You know what I mean? If Xander Zayas didn't want the fight, he's not the mandatory. He's not in the... I mean... You know what I mean? He only had one fight at 155, so he's not 154 so he's not the mandatory. This whole thing is happening because Xander Zayas wants the best. He said, I'm not your Vante. I don't want no more pies. I don't want no more Mexicans from the barrio. I want the best. I got 2 straps. I'm young. You know what I mean? I got the reach on them. I got the weight on them. I got the skills on them. We're going to get to that in a minute. You don't want the best. Bring them in. You can't get me Virgil Ortiz. You know what I mean? Because he getting molested by Oscar de la Renta in the back of the mansion. So get me the next best thing. Who? Ennis? Bring them in. So this whole thing is happening because of Xander Zayas. You know what I'm saying? Got a real champion right there. A real Puerto Rican that can speak English. Not like Danny Garcia. Not like these other New Yorkers. New York Puerto Ricans, a lot of them, like the young ones, they can't speak, you know what I mean, Espanol. Fake ass Puerto Ricans. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado, a real Puerto Rican. He could speak Puerto Rican. Like, you know what I mean? And he don't got like the American accent. You know how some Puerto Ricans, they try to get that off, but they got like an American accent and they don't know all the words. They don't got like that real, you know what I mean? That real Puerto Rican accent, you know what I'm saying? Like Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga is like, he kind of like a fake Puerto Rican. He speaks better than Danny, but you can tell he got like that. These are like New Yorkers, like New York Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying? Philly Puerto Ricans are not really Puerto Ricans. This is like a hybrid, my nigga. Once you live out here for too long, you start becoming white. You start getting whiter and whiter, or you start becoming, like niggas. You know what I mean? With your pants sagging, your butt cheeks hanging out like Adrian Broner. You know what I mean? Something happens to you, and you forget how to speak Espanol with a Puerto Rican accent. You feel me? Miguel Cotto, that's a real Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? Xander Zayas, that's a real... You hear this nigga speak Puerto Rican? He sound like Puerto Rican. Like a real Puerto Rican when you go to the island. You know what I mean? When he speak English, he got like a Spanish accent. It's like he speak Puerto Rican better than he speaks English. That's a real Puerto Rican. And let me tell you, so they're saying that he was drained. He looked good to me. You know what I mean? This guy's young, rehydrate to like 180 pounds. Boy going there looking like a beast. And they're saying that Boots Ennis' beard is fake. That shit is too big. But you know what I mean? They were making excuses, you know, the Puerto Ricans like, yo, you gotta shave that shit, son. He trying to get advantages. But I'm not with none of that. You know what I mean? I don't think he's drained. You know what I mean? And I mean, he got the beard, it is what it is. If Xander Zayas made the fight, before I went on that whole Puerto Rican tangent. Xander Zayas made the fight. If he wanted the beard off, you know what I mean? For 55-45, boy, he gonna remove the beard. You know what I mean? If Xander Zayas, the champ, the A side, you know what I mean, giving him 45%, which he don't deserve, you know what I'm saying? He might be a little bit bigger name, but he's not a name. Jaron is not a name. He's never had a pay-per-view. This is his first pay-per-view. He's the B-side. He got no fucking straps. Who has he beaten? Sergey Lipinets? Boy. So, if Xander Zayas, the guy making the fight, wanted the beard off, he would have put it in the contract. You know what I'm saying? From the rip, from the start. You don't give a fuck about no fucking beard, nigga. Now the fans are complaining about the beard. They're saying that the beard's giving some advantages. That the beard might give him, you know what I mean, Philly superpowers. And when you look at the beard, when it closed in, when he's like, you know, doing the interview, you know what I mean, after the post weigh-in, he looked good too, by the way. Jaron Boots Ennis looks filled up. He looks good. When you look at the weigh-in, you know, you see the close-up, the beard looks like padded. It looks like it's stuck on with like crazy glue or something. It don't look real. Whatever. Enough about the fucking beard. I don't give a fuck about the beard. I don't give a fuck about the... Xander Zayas is not drained. You know what I mean? He looked happy. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing that I want to point out. Xander Zayas was wearing flats. Like, you know, like slippers. You know what I mean? At the weigh-in. But Boots Ennis was wearing like New Balances. Like, you know, like them sneakers that got like, you know, like Air Force Ones. They got like a heel like this. Got that rubber like that. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at their feet. You know how boxing be. You know about the fuckery. You gotta look at the feet. We seen Javante show up with shoes. You know what I mean, with a 3-inch heel, so he don't look like the midget. You know what I'm saying? You know he got a little Napoleon complex, a little, you know what I mean, crack baby Wahid. You know what I mean? So we gotta look at shoes nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And when they're standing together, one guy's wearing like slippers, like real flat, Xander Zayas, and the other guy's wearing regular sneakers. You know what I mean? But they're like New Balances. They got like a heel like that, like a 1-inch heel. You know what I'm saying? And still, Xander Zayas looks taller. When you look at their arms, you know what I mean? Xander Zayas got like monkey arms. You know what I'm saying? Long as hell. And the other guy is a little shorter. He's a little shorter. But when you look at the box rec, you know what I mean? That shit fake. Some shit on box rec be fake. Like Devin Haney's resume. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the box rec, it says 5'10 and 5'10 with a 74-inch reach. Exactly. They got the exact same numbers. But Xander Zayas is about 6 foot tall. Maybe Boots Ennis is 5'10. And Xander Zayas got way longer arms, at least by like 2 inches longer than Boots Ennis. Not by much. It's not by much. You know what I'm saying? But there is a discrepancy. There is a difference. You know what I mean? And check out my official prediction. I made it real short and sweet for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in my official prediction a couple months ago, before really looking in, you know what I mean? When the fight was announced, I was like, I got boots. You know what I mean? I had to always fight. I always had to close 55-45. You know what I mean? I was giving the edge to Boots because, you know, I know Boots better. But now, you know, the last couple weeks that I've been watching the fights, I've seen like maybe 5 or 6 Xander Zayas fights. I looked at the film study. I looked at Jaron, Boots, Ennis' last couple fights. I even went back to old fights, right? And I really looked at their styles. And then, you know, I noticed that niggas be skipping my videos. They don't want the stock market videos. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want the boxing videos. My Bivol versus Benavidez. That's a great fight. And that shit only got like 5 views. You know what I'm saying? You know what gets views? Adrian Broner twerking with other niggas. You know what I'm saying? Ray J scheming. You know what I mean? I'm trying to turn Adrian Broner into a trick. Ray J, you know what I mean? Talking about his stories with nights with the trannies. That's what gets views. So that shit got me mad, son. And then I got racist. You know, it don't take too much for me to get racist. You know what I mean? I get racist real quick. But then I saw the film and I'm like, this ain't Sugar Lip and Nets. This is not Karen the Russian. This is not Stanionian. This is not Stanionian after a 2-year layoff. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. I think that Boots had fought nobody. Hold up. Boots already like a 10-year veteran. 10 years. Amazing, right? He been in the game for 10. He been a professional for 10 years. I think Xander Zayas has been a professional for like 6 years. You know what I'm saying? 5 years, something like that. Xander Zayas is only 23. But Boots, I didn't even know that. But then I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, I started watching Boots on Showtime. You know what I mean? Maybe HBO. That was a long time ago, son. That was a long time ago, let me tell you. And he has fought nobody. Boots is like the welterweight version of Gervonta. Not even, because Gervonta got multiple pay-per-views. And, you know what I mean, he's popular. Boots is not popular. Nobody knows Jaron Boots Ennis outside of boxing. Hashtag no lie. And, you know, I started looking at their styles and this and that. And that's why I made my official prediction. You know what I mean? I changed it. I still got a close fight. You know what I mean? And it could go either way. You know what I'm saying? But my official prediction is somebody about to go to Puerto Rican. Somebody about to go to Puerto Rican University of Boxing, let me tell you. And I got Xander Zayas turning them and flipping them like a prostitute in Kensington, Philadelphia. About to turn them like a tweaker. Bow! Blow! Blow! I don't see him getting past that jab, son. And then I found out that Xander Zayas is a natural. Hold up. I'm getting hot. And I don't want to turn on the AC. You know what I'm saying? Then I found out. Blow! I found out that Xander Zayas is a natural left-hander. You know what I mean? He writes the checks. With his left hand, but he fight orthodox. So he's kind of like a southpaw, but the reverse. You know what I mean? Like Miguel Cotto used to be. Miguel Cotto would fight orthodox, but you know what I mean? You know, orthodox is like, you know, with your left side forward. But Miguel Cotto is a natural left-hander. So that means that, bow, his strong arm, his strong hand, you know what I mean, is the left hand. You know, I found out just watching some interview or something, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's why that left hook and that left jab is so accurate. Plus, I'm like, oh, the footwork, the technique, the size, the reach. That's what all Xander Zayas, with the Puerto Rican. Hold up. Xander Zayas starting to look like Shakur Puerto Rican Stevenson. He got a little Shakur Puerto Rican Stevenson going on over here. How he keep turning and turning and turning and turning and moving and turning, and it's nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm looking at Boots, and yeah, Boots got some power, no doubt. I still, till this day, I still give Boots a slight edge in power. Not by much. You know, they say that Zayas don't got no power. But he been dropping like 6'1", a bunch of 154 guys coming in at 170, 180 pounds. He been dropping them, stopping them. You know what I mean? He got 23 fights, and half his fights are like knockouts. So, you know what I mean? I saw some dude's nose busted all up. You know what I mean? Bloodied all up. He got enough power, son. You know what I'm saying? So, but then I was watching Boots, and yeah, Boots got 35 fights, 0 knockouts. I mean, zero losses with 33 knockouts. Like, 90% of his fights are knockouts. But these are tiny-ass guys. Sergey Lipinets fought at 135 pounds, then 140. I mean, I never remember, the only guy I remember being the same size, not even bigger, but the same size as Jaron Boots Ennis in his entire career for 10 years. The only guy I ever remember being his same size is Roman Villa. You know what I mean? Roman Villa, that was coming off a win over Rashidi, I forgot his last name, right? But the only guy that was like eye to eye with him, his entire career that I remember, you know what I mean? The 154 guy that he fought as a stay busy for one round, that guy don't count. His last fight, right, was a 154 guy, right? But that was one round, a pie, you know what I mean? That nigga was just there for a payday. You know what I mean? That shit was like 2 minutes of fighting, that shit don't count. But the rest of his career, the only guy that, you know what I mean, the only guy that was his size was Roman Villa. You know what I mean? The Colombian with all the tattoos and shit, you know what I'm saying? And he got stopped. You know what I mean? So shout out to Jaron Boots Ennis, he got that one off. But after watching all this, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I mean? You know, I saw that my Adrian Broner videos were getting like 200 views. And my boxing videos were getting no views. I started getting racist. You know what I mean? I started looking at the skills of Xander Zayas. I started looking at the pies, the entire pie resume of Jaron Boots Ennis. And I made a new decision, you know what I mean? And I think, like I said in my official video, my official prediction, go check out that video, right? I think that he's about to get turned all night. This might just be a boring fight. This might just be like a Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Money Mayweather type of fight. You know what I mean? This might just get boring up in this bitch. It might just get boring. Because I see him turning them all night. Jaron Boots Ennis does well on the inside. Devastating hooks. He got good power, good snap. But from medium range to like the inside. And he don't really got Triple G. He don't really got Triple G feet. You know what I mean? To break them down like that. To get on the inside without eating like blow, 3 left hooks. Blow, blow, blow. A triple jab. You know what I'm saying? And he turning. You know what I mean? This guy got the reach on him. He got the height on him. He got the feet on him. He been fighting at 154. He coming into the ring at like a $180, a $175. He coming into the ring at like my weight. You know what I'm saying? He's not just going to get on the inside and just throw a 4-piece combination to his body and stop him like that. I don't see that happening. It could happen. It could happen. You know what I mean? But I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? The way that he be treating Sergey Lipinets and Stanionians, you know what I mean? It'd be all like, all, you know what I mean? Covered up, just taking fucking body shots. That's not going to happen to Xander Zayas. You know what I mean? And what I see happening is Xander Zayas going to his Usyk bag, going to his Shakur Puerto Rican Stevenson bag, going to his Lomachenko bag. That's what I see. I see, because Xander Zayas fights like, I'm not saying he like them exactly like them, but he come from that cloth. You know what I'm saying? He come from that school, that Usyk, Shakur, Puerto Rican, Stevenson, Lomachenko. You know what I mean? That turning. You know what I mean? That fancy footwork. You know what I'm saying? And Jaron Boots Ennis, he's not flat-footed. I'm not gonna say he's flat-footed, but he's not like Shakur, Puerto Rican, Stevenson. He don't got the Usyk feet. You know what I mean? He don't got the Lomachenko feet. You know what I mean? And Xander Zayas does. Xander Zayas got that them Usyk feet, Shakur, Puerto Rican, Stevenson, Lomachenko, them, you know what I mean? Turning. Watch his fight, his last fight. You know what I mean? Where he picked up a strap against the African. You know what I mean? Baru or whatever. Baru, his name was. Something like that. The last fight, right? And the fight before that. And the fight, his whole career. You know what I mean? He does not stand still, son. You know what I mean? He can fight on the inside a little bit. Not as good as Jaron Boots Ennis, but he's an outside fighter. You know what I mean? And he got this jab hook. It's not a hook and it's not a jab. It's like a hybrid. It comes like a jab and then it turns. Bow! Turns at the last minute. You know what I mean? And it's like from the outside. And his hooks, even with those hooks, he extends. You're getting like the total end of the punch, because he throws his hooks from the outside. Blah, real short, real compact. Like, it's not like a looping hook like Jaron Boots Ennis. And when I noticed that, I'm like, yo, Xander Zayas hooks are like real bow, real compact, real accurate. And Jaron Boots Ennis hooks look like they got more power, like they do more effect. But he gotta get on real close to drop them. You know what I'm saying? He don't be dropping these shits from like the outside. You know what I'm saying? And he's shorter, and he got, you know what I mean? The reach is not the same. I got this guy going to school, let me tell you. In a boring fight. I got this guy going to school, let me tell you, in a boring fight. Somebody might just end up at the Puerto Rican University of Boxing, let me tell you. May the best man win, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody ever getting reparations. Nobody ever getting reparations. We cutting the fucking EBT, you know what I'm saying? And all these Muslims and Hindians are getting fucking deported. You know, I can't help it. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it. Sometimes I get a little, I think it's the coffee. I think the 7-Eleven coffee from the Hindu man is making me racist. Check out my next video. I know nobody's going to watch it. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to be talking about futures and options, the stock market. You know what I mean? We're going to be talking about your money. You know what I mean? We're going to break this shit down, make it real simple and easy for you. You know what I mean? And, I do videos. My shit is not monetized. I don't make these videos for money. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to make videos that I'm passionate about. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make videos that I like. And, you know what I mean? I want to talk about futures and options. We're also going to talk about regular stocks and indexes. You know what I'm saying? The market is exploding. The market ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? AI might be taking your jobs. You know what I mean? You might end up working at Walmart. Y'all probably working at Walmart right now. Hashtag no lie. But, you know what I mean? AI ain't going to take everybody's jobs, but it's going to take a lot of jobs, let me tell you. You know what I'm saying? The online, you know what I mean? The internet, you know what I mean? All that shit is, you know what I mean? Inflation is going to continue to grow. Your wages are going to continue to drop. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just the American system. You know what I'm saying? But the market, the stock market, that shit is not going nowhere. It might have some highs, some lows, but you got to learn how to make money on the lows as well. You can make money on the way up, and you can make money on the way down. You know what I mean? You got to know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not for everybody, though. Like 80% of people, of newbies, of amateurs that get into the stock market, they lose their money. 80%. Because they go into the stock market with this mentality of like gambling. This ain't FanDuel, nigga. This is not DraftKings. You know what I mean? And you got all this, you know, prediction markets, the poly markets, the cash. You got all this advertising. Everywhere you fucking turn, is a sticker of DraftKings, of poly market, of Cashy. You know what I mean? Of FanDuel. They're just beating you in the fucking dome piece with all this gambling. Just like anywhere you go, you know what I mean? You see an OnlyFans, you know what I mean, promotion. You know what I'm saying? But the stock market is not gambling. Unfortunately, 90% of people treat it like gambling and lose their money. That's why they lose their money, because they think it's gambling. This is not based on luck. This is not gambling. This is hard work, dedication, and skills. And then my next video gonna be about Floyd Money Mayweather. Niggas saying he broke again. I've been hearing that Floyd Money Mayweather's broke for like all my life. All my life, every couple years, this, you know, we go through this trend of Floyd Mayweather being broke. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he's broke. I think he's perfectly fine. We're gonna talk about that as well. So please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share. Thank you.